501 bureaucrat and official of a bureaucracy. 502 burglar person who enters a building illegally in order to steal. 503 burglary, the crime of entering building illegally and stealing things from it. 504 burrow hole tunnel in the ground made by animals such as rabbits for them to live in. Bursar, a person who manages the financial affairs of a college. 506 business, like working in an efficient and organized way and not wasting time or thinking about personal things. Butcher, a person who slaughters or dresses meat for market. Bypass, road that passes around a town, city rather than through the center. 509 bypassers, one who passes by. 510 cabbie, a taxi driver. 511 cache, hidden storage space for money or provisions or weapons. 512 cacography, poor handwriting. 513 cacophony, loud, confusing, disagreeable sounds. 514 cadaverous, of or relating to a cadaver or corpse. 515 cage house, in which animals, birds are kept. 516 cajolement, making somebody do something by talking to him and being very nice to him. 517 calcivorous, erode, eat, limestone. 518 calculative, used for persons, the most calculating and selfish men. 519 calculus, the branch of mathematics that is concerned with limits and with the differentiation and integration of functions. Caliber, a degree or grade of excellence or worth. 521 calligrapher, someone skilled in penmanship. Calligraphy, beautiful. Writing done with a special pen brush. 522 calligraphy, beautiful handwriting that you do with special pen brush. 523 callous, not caring about other people's feelings or suffering. 524 calmative, having a sedative effect. 525 calumny, slander, aspersion. 526 camouflage, the disguising of military personnel, equipment, and installations by painting or covering them to make them blend in with their surroundings. 527 canicide, the killing of a dog. 528 canine, connected with dogs. 529 cannery, factory where food is canned. 530 cannibal, person who eats human flesh. 531 canophilia, love for dogs. 532 capable, usually followed by of, having capacity or ability. 533 capacity, the maximum production possible. 534 capitalist, person who supports the fact that a country's businesses and industry are controlled and run by private owners rather than by the government. 535 capsize, overturn accidentally. 536 captor, person who captures a person, an animal, and keeps him, it, as a prisoner. 537 caravan, covered vehicle, used for living by gypsies. 538 carcass, the dead body of an animal. 539 cardiologist, a doctor who specializes in the study or treatment of heart diseases. 540 cardiology, the study and treatment of heart diseases. 541 carefree, having no worries or responsibilities. 542 caricature, funny drawing, picture of somebody that exaggerates some of his features. 543 carnivore, eats the flesh of other animals. Animal. 544 carnivorous, animals that eat meat. 545 carol, Christian religious songs sung at Christmas. 546 cartographer, person who draws or makes maps. 547 cartography, the art or process of drawing or making maps. 548 cartoon, an amusing drawing about politics, events in the news. 549 cascade, a succession of stages or operations or processes or units. 550 castigation, severe punishment. 551 catalog, complete list of items, for example, of things that people can look at to buy for. 552 catastrophe, a sudden violent change in the Earth's surface. 553 catharsis, psychoanalysis, purging of emotional tensions. Cathedral, the main church of district, under the care of a bishop, a priest of high rank. 555 caustic, biting, sarcastic. 556 cavalier, courtly, gentleman, especially one acting as a lady's escort too. Cavalry, the part of the army that fought on horses in the past, the part of the modern army that uses armored vehicles. 2. 558 cave, large hole in the side of a hill under the ground. 559 ceasefire time, when enemies agree to stop fighting. 560 seed, relinquish possession or control over. 561 celestial, of the sky, heaven. 2. 562 celibacy, the state of living unmarried. 2. 563 celibate, person who has chosen not to marry. 2. 564 cellar, an underground room, often used for storing things, wine, salt, etc. 3. 565 Celsius, using scale of temperature in which water freezes at 0 and boils at 100. 566 cemetery, an area of land used for burying dead people, especially one that is not beside a church. 2. 567 cenotaph, monument, built in memory of soldiers killed in war, who are buried somewhere else. 2. 568 centenarian, person who is a 100 years old or more. 3. 569 centenary, the 100th anniversary of an event. 2. Centennial, the 100th anniversary of an event. Centipede, small, long, thin animal with many legs. 2. 572 centrifugal, anything tending to move away from center. 573 centripetal, tending to move toward a center. Centurion, an army officer who commanded 100 soldiers in ancient Rome. 2. 575 century, period of a 100 years. 576 cereal, made of grain or relating to grain or the plants that produce it. 577 ceremony, any activity that is performed in an especially solemn, elaborate, or formal way. 2. 578 serography, the art of engraving on waxed plate on which a printing surface is created by electrotyping. 579 certificate, an official document that may be used for proving that the facts it states are true. 580 certitude, total certainty or greater certainty than circumstances warrant. 2. 581 cessation, a stopping. 582 chafe, rub part of the body to restore warmth or sensation. 2. 583 chagrin, vexation, for humiliation of disappointment. 584 chairman, the officer who presides at the meetings of an organization. 585 chalcocite, a heavy gray mineral that is an ore of copper. 586 chalet, wooden house with a sloping roof, usually built in mountain areas in Switzerland. 587 chamois, hoofed mammal of mountains of Eurasia, having upright horns with backward. 588 chandler, a maker and seller of candles and soap and oils and paints. 589 changeable, such that alteration is possible. 590 changeling, child who is believed to have been secretly left in exchange for another. 591 chaotic, lacking a visible order or organization. 592 chapel, small building, room used for Christian worship in, a school, prison, large private house, etc. 2. 593 chaperone, one who accompanies and supervises a young woman or gatherings of young people. 2. 594 chaplain, priest or other Christian minister who is responsible for the religious needs of people in a prison, hospital, etc., or in the armed forces. 595 charge, a impetuous rush towards someone or something. 596 charger, horse that a soldier rode in battle in the past. 597 chariot, a light. 4. 598 charisma, compelling attractiveness or charm that can inspire or influence others. 599 charismatic, exercising compelling charm which inspires devotion in others. 600 charlatan, person falsely claiming to have a special knowledge or skill. 601 chartered accountant, a fully trained and qualified accountant. C's frame of car or other wheel vehicle 603, chaste, pure 604, chastise, censure severely. 605 chauffeur person whose job is to drive a car, especially for somebody rich, important. 5. 606 chauvinism, fanatical patriotism. 607 chauvinist, a blindly devoted patriot. 608 cheap, relatively low in price or charging low prices. 609 cheat, to deceive. Fool, trick. 610 chemotherapy, the treatment of disease, cancer, with the use of chemical substances too. 611 chew, to bite continuously. 612 chide, to criticize, blame, scold. 613 child, a young person of either sex. 614 choreography, another name for calligraphy. Choir, group of people who sing together in church services, public performances. 16 chore, routine task, especially a household one. 617 choreography, the act of designing and arranging the steps. 3. 608 chronic, difficult to care or get rid of, lasting for long. 619 chronicle, a record or narrative description of past events. 620 chronological, arranged in the order in which they happened, events. Chronometer, an instrument for measuring time accurately in spite of motion or variations in temperature, humidity, and air pressure. 622 chum bait, consisting of chopped fish and fish oils that are dumped overboard to attract fish too. 600 church, place of worship of the Christians. 2. 624 churlish, rude, in mean-spirited and surly way. 2. 625 chutzpah, extreme self-confidence or audacity. 626 cinch, an extremely easy task. 627 circulatory, relating to circulatory system or to circulation of the blood. 628 circumcenter, the point at which the perpendicular bisectors of the sides of a triangle intersect and which is equidistant from the three vertices. 629 circumlocution, using more words than are necessary instead of speaking or writing in a clear, direct way. 4. 630 circumscription, the act of restricting. 631 circumspection, knowing how to avoid distress. 632 circumstantial, containing information and details that strongly suggest that something is true but do not prove it. 633 circumvent, avoid or try to avoid fulfilling, answering, or performing duties, questions, or issues. Circumvention, the act of escaping by going around. 635 citadel, a fortress, typically one on high ground above a city. 636 citizen, person who has the legal right to belong to a particular country. 600 civilization, society, its culture and its way of life during a particular period of time in a particular part of the world. 638 clamorous, making loud and confused noise. 639 clamor, loud and persistent outcry from many people. 640 clandestine, conducted with or marked by hidden aims or methods. 601 clarity, easy to understand. 642 claustrophobia, an extreme fear of being in small, confined place. 10. Clavierist, a musician who plays the clavier. 644 clement, used of persons or behavior, inclined to show mercy. 645 clergy in Christianity, clergymen collectively, as distinguished from the laity. 646 cleverness, intelligence. 647 client, person who uses the services, advice of a professional person, organization. 2. 60 customers collectively. 649 climatology, meteorology of climates and their phenomena. 650 clincher, a tool used to clinch nails or bolts or rivets. 651 clinker, a hard brick used as a paving stone. 652 clinophobia, fear of beds or going to bed. 653 cloakroom, room in a public building where people can leave coats, bags, etc. for a time. 600 factory, school, hospital, etc. Shuts permanently. 655 cloud influence or power, especially in politics or business. 656 clung to adhere closely. 657 coach a carriage pulled by 4 horses with 1 driver. 658 coarse, conspicuously and tastelessly indecent. 659 coarseness, the quality of lacking taste and refinement. 660 cocktail and appetizer, served as a first course at a meal. 661 cocktail drink, usually made from a mixture of 1 or more alcoholic drinks and fruit juice. And 62 codicil, an instruction that is added later to will, usually to change a part of it. 600 codify, organize into a code or system, such as a body of law. 664 coefficient, a constant number that serves as a measure of some property or characteristic. 665 coerce, compelled to force to make obedient. 666 coercion, the action of making somebody do something that he does not want to do, using force or threatening. 2. 667 coffer, large strong box, used in the past for storing money, valuable objects. 668 coffle, group of animals, prisoners, or slaves chained together in a line. 669 cohere, have internal elements or parts logically connected so that aesthetic consistency results. 670 coherence, logical and orderly and consistent relation of parts. 671 coin collector and student of money, collects coins with the aim to complete sets of coins. 672 coincidence, remarkable concurrence of events or circumstances without apparent causal connection. 673 coir, rough material made from the shells of coconuts, used for making ropes, for covering flowers, etc. 674 Cold War, a state of political hostility between countries using means short of armed warfare. 675 colleague, person that one work with at the same place, in a profession or a business. 3. And 76 collier, ship that carries coal. 677 colloquy, mutual discourse. 678 colony, country or an area that is governed by people from another, more powerful country. 2. 679 colossal, so great in size or force or extent as to elicit awe. 680 colossus, a gigantic statue. 681 comet, mass of ice and dust that moves around the sun and looks like a bright star with a tail. 682 commemorate, to remind people of an important person, event from the past with a special action. Object. 683 commence, take the first step or steps in carrying out an action. 684 commensurate, to match something in size, importance, quality, etc. 685 commiserate, to show sympathy when somebody is upset, disappointed. 686 commission, money given to agent on sales. 687 common, having no special distinction, quality. 688 common, belonging to or participated in by community as a whole, public. 679 communicate, to exchange information, news, ideas, etc. 690 communist, person who believes in or supports living together and sharing possessions and responsibilities. 3. 691 community, group of people having common interests, living in the same locality and under the same government. 2. 692 companion, person who travels, spends a lot of time with you. 693 company, group of persons, firm, business, enterprise. 694 compass, an instrument for finding directions. Deep awareness of and sympathy for another's suffering. 697 compatriots, a fellow citizen or national of a country. 698 compare, British term for someone who introduces television, acts or cabarets, etc. A 99 complacent, too satisfied with yourself or with situation. 700 complacent, trying to please. 701 complex, complicated. 702 complicity, the act of taking with another person. In crime. 703 compliment, a remark or act expressing praise and admiration. 704 complimentary, conveying or resembling a compliment. 705 compositor, one who sets written material into type. 706 compositor, person who arranges text on a page before printing. 2 and 7 compromise, an agreement made between two people or groups. 3. 708 compulsorily, that must be done because of law or a rule. 709 comrades, friends. 710 conceited, having too much pride in yourself and what you do. 711 conceivable, capable of being imagined or grasped mentally. 2. 712 concentration, the ability to direct all your effort and attention on one thing. 113 concentric, having a common center. 714 concept, an abstract or general idea inferred or derived from specific instances. 715 concision, terseness and economy in writing and speaking, achieved by expressing a great deal in just a few words. 716 concluding speech, said at the end of something as a conclusion to what happened. 717 concoct, invent, prepare by mixing together. 718 concubinage, living together as spouses without being legally married. Concubine, a woman who cohabits with an important man. 720 condiment, a preparation, a sauce or relish or spice to enhance flavor or enjoyment. 721 condominium, an apartment building, group of houses in which each flat, apartment, house is owned by a person living in it, but the shared areas are owned by everyone together. Confectioner, a company or person that makes or sells sweets or chocolate. 723 confederate, joined by an agreement or treaty. 724 confession statement, that a person makes admitting that he is guilty of a crime. 725 confident, feeling sure about your own ability to do things and be successful. 726 configuration, an arrangement of the parts of something or group of things. 727 confiscate, to officially take something away from somebody. 2. 728 conflagrant, combustibles, flammable. 729 conflagration, an excessive fire which destroys lot of land, buildings. 730 confrontation, situation in which there is an angry disagreement between people or groups who have different opinions. 731 confusing state of not being certain. To 732 congenial, used of plants. 733 congregation, group of people who are gathered together in a church to worship God. 4. 734 conjecture, an opinion or conclusion formed on the basis of incomplete information. 2. 735 conjugate, of an organic compound. 736 conjunctivitis, an infectious eye disease that causes pain and swelling in part of the eye. 737 conjure, a person who performs magic tricks which seem to make things appear or disappear. 8 connoisseur, an expert on matters involving the judgmental beauty, quality or skill in art, food or music. 9. 739 conscience, the fact of behaving in a way that you feel is right, even though this may cause problems. 740 conscientious, guided by one's sense of duty. 741 conscious, followed by of, showing realization or recognition of something. 742 consciousness, the state of being able to use your senses and mental powers to understand what is happening. 140 conservative, holding to traditional attitudes and values and cautious about change or innovation. A person who is opposed to great sudden social change. 3. 744 conservatory, room with glass walls and a glass roof that is built on the side of a house. 745 console, comfort someone at time of grief or disappointment. 746 consolidate, unite into one. 747 conspicuous, clearly visible, likely to attract attention. and 48 constellation group of stars that forms a shape in the sky and has a name. 749 consternation, worried, sad feeling after you have received. 750 constipated, unable to get rid of waste material from the bowels easily. 751 constrained, appearing forced or overly controlled. 752 constriction, narrowing, that reduces the flow through a channel. 103 to understand the meaning of word, a sentence or an action in a particular way. 154 consummate, extremely skilled. 755 contagious, easily spread from one person to another. Disease. 756 contaminated, something made impure by exposure to polluting substances. 757 contemplate, consider as a possibility. 758 contemporaries belonging to the same time. 759 contemporary, belonging to the same time. 760 contempt, the feeling that something is without value and deserves no respect at all. 761 contender, the contestant you hope to defeat. 762 contented, someone who is satisfied with life, is general. 763 contingency, an event that may not happen. 764 continuum, series of similar items in which each is almost the same as the ones next to it, but the last is very different from the first. A 765 contraband goods that are illegally taken into or out of country. 766 contract, an official written agreement. 767 contraction, the process of becoming smaller. 768 contrary, resistant to guidance or discipline. 769 contributory, tending to bring about. 770 controversy, dispute, where there is strong disagreement. 771 convalescent, man who is recovering from illness. 772 convent, place where nuns live and work. 773 convention, the way in which something is done that most people in a society expect and consider to be polite, the right way to do it. 774 conventionalist, advocacy of or conformity to that which is established. 775 convergence, the act of converging, coming closer. 776 conversant, knowing about something. 777 conviction, the act of finding somebody guilty of crime in court. 778 convivial, occupied with or fond of the pleasures of good company. 779 copse, a dense growth of bushes. 780 copy, thing that is made to be the same as something else, a document or a work of art. Copy 81 copyright, the legal right granted to an author, composer, playwright, publisher, or distributor to exclusive publication, production, sale, distribution of a literary, musical, dramatic, or artistic work. 782 coquette, a seductive woman who uses her sex appeal to exploit men. 783 cordial, warm, and sincere. 784 coronation ceremony of crowning a king. 785 corporal, a petty officer. Corporate, organized and maintained as a legal corporation. 787 corpse, dead body, human. 788 corpsing, spoil, piece of acting by forgetting one's lines. Laughing uncontrollably. 789 corrigendum, printer's error to be corrected. 790 corroborate, to provide evidence, information that supports statement. A 791 corruption, dishonest, illegal behavior of people in authority. 792 cortege, line of cars, people moving along slowly at a funeral. 793 cosmesis, the preservation, restoration or bestowing of bodily beauty. 794 cosmetician, one whose occupation is manufacturing, selling or applying cosmetics. 795 cosmocrat, ruler, leader of the whole world. 796 cosmography, science of the constitution of the whole universe. 2 cosmopolitan, person who has the experience of many different parts of the world. 5 798 coterie, small group of people who have the same interests and do things together, but do not like to include others. 799 cough syrup, liquid medicine that you take for a cough. 800 council, group of people who are elected to govern an area such as a city or a district, etc. 801 counselor, a member of a council. 802 counselor, someone who has supervisory duties, gives advice about problems, a lawyer who pleads cases in court. 803 counterfeit fake, made to look exactly like something, in order to trick people into thinking that they are getting the real thing. 804 country and area of land that has or used to have its own government and laws. 805 coup, sudden change of government that is illegal and often violent. 806 couplet, a stanza having 2 lines in verse 2. 807 courier person, company whose job is to take packages, important parcel somewhere. 808 covertly, in a covert manner. 809 covey, small collection of people. 810 cowardice, the trait of lacking courage. 811 creasy, a line made by pressing, folding, or wrinkling. 812 creative, having the skill and ability to produce something new, especially a work of art. 813 creator, person who has made, invented a particular thing. 814 credence, the mental attitude that something is believable and should be accepted as true. 815 credential, the qualities, training, experience that make you suitable to do something. 816 credible, that can be believed or trusted. 7. 817 creditable, deserving public acknowledgement and praise but not necessarily outstanding or successful. 2. 818 creditor, person to whom money is owed by another person. 2. 819 credulous, ready to believe things and therefore easy to trick. 4. 820 creed, system of religious belief. 821 crematorium, building in which the bodies of dead people are burned. 822 crescendo, a gradual increase in loudness in a piece of music. 823 crew, all the people working on ship, plane, etc. 824 criminal, connected with crime. 3. 825 crisis, turning point of danger, disease. 826 crisp, crunchy. 827 criterion, standard, principle by which something is judged, or with the help of which a decision is made. 828 critic, person who expresses disapproval of somebody's something and talks about his bad qualities, especially publicly. 2. 829 crocodile, large, voracious aquatic reptile, having a long snout with massive jaws and sharp teeth and a body covered with bony plates. 830 crowd, large number of people gathered together in a public place, in the streets, at a sports ground, etc. 831 crude, simple, and not very accurate but giving general idea of something. 832 crypto, a person having a secret allegiance to a political creed, especially communism. 833 cryptograph, a device for deciphering codes and ciphers. 2. 834 cull, to kill particular number of animals of a group in order to prevent the group from getting too large. 835 culpable, responsible, and deserving blame for having done something wrong. 3. 836 culprits, person who has done something wrong against the law. 837 culture, the customs and beliefs, art, way of life, and social organization of a particular country group. 838 curator, person whose job is to be in charge of the objects or words of art in a museum or art gallery, etc. 4. 839 curfew, signal under martial law for people to remain indoors. 840 curiosity, a strong desire to know or learn something. 841 curmudgeon, bad-tempered person, often an old one. 842 currency, general acceptance or use. 843 cursory, going rapidly over something. 844 curt, brief, and to the point. 845 customer, person, an organization that buys something from a shop, store, or business. 846 cut, to make an opening, to divide with knife. 847 cyclone, violent tropical storm in which strong winds move in a circle. 848 cyclostyle, print with cyclostyle, a writing implement with a small toothed wheel that cuts small holes in a stencil. 849 cynic, someone who is critical of the motives of others. 6. 850 cynicism, a cynical feeling of distrust. 851 xenophobia, extreme fear of dogs. 2. 852 cynosure, center of attraction. 3. 853 cytology, dealing with cells. 2. Dabbler, an amateur who engages in an activity without serious intentions and who pretends to have knowledge. Dacoit, a member of an armed gang of robbers. Dactology, the science of communicating by sign language using the hands and fingers. 857 daft informal or slang terms for mentally irregular. 858 dam barrier that is built across a river in order to stop the water from flowing. 859 damsel, a young unmarried woman. 860 dandy, a man unduly concerned with looking stylish and fashionable. 861 dangerous, likely to injure or harm somebody, likely to damage or destroy something too. 862 daring, brave. 863 dark, with no or little light. 864 data, facts, information, especially when examined and used for finding out things, for making decisions. 865 daughter, a female human offspring, dawdle, to take long time to do something, go somewhere. 867 dazzling, amazingly impressive. 868 deacon, cleric, ranking just below a priest in churches. 869 deadly, causing or likely to cause death. 870 deaf, lacking or deprive of the sense of hearing wholly or in part. 871 deal in agreement. 872 dean and administrator in charge of division of a university college. 873 debacle, an event, a situation that is complete failure and causes embarrassment, a breakup, overthrow, sudden disaster. 874 debasement, the fact of making somebody less valuable, respected. 875 debatable, capable of being disproved. 876 debate, formal discussion of an issue expressing different opinions. 877 debauch, a wild gathering involving excessive drinking and promiscuity. 878 debauchery, immoral behavior involving sex, alcohol, or drugs. 809 debonair, fashionable and confident of men. 880 debut, the first public appearance of performer, sports player. 881 decadent, marked by excessive self. 882 deceit, the act of deceiving. 883 deceive, to cheat, fool, trick, mislead. 884 decipher, to succeed in finding the meaning of something of that is difficult to read, understand. 885 declaratory, relating to the use of or having the nature of a declaration. 886 declare, to say something officially, publicly, to state firmly and clearly. 887 decrepit, lacking bodily, muscular strength, vitality. 888 defalcation, the sum of money that is misappropriated. 889 defamation, the act of damaging somebody's reputation by saying, writing bad, false things about him, orchestration. 890 defame, to harm somebody by saying, writing bad, false things about him. 891 defeatist person, expecting not to succeed and showing it in a particular situation. 892 defection, withdrawing support or help, despite continued support for a political party, religion, ruler, etc. 893 definite, known for certain. 894 deist person, who believes in God, especially God that created the universe but does not part in it. 895 delectable, greatly pleasing. 896 delegate, to give part of your work, power, or authority to somebody in a lower position than you. 897 delete, to remove something that has been written, printed, stored on a computer. 898 deliberate, carefully thought out in advance, unhurried and with care and dignity. 899 deliberation, slow and careful movement or thought. 900 delible, capable of being deleted. 901 delicate, easily damaged or broken. 902 deliquous, become liquid, typically during decomposition. 903 deluge, great flood, heavy rush of water. 904 demagogue, political leader who tries to win support by using arguments based on emotion rather than reason. 905 dementia, serious mental disorder caused by brain disease, injury that affects the ability to think, remember, and behave normally. 906 democracy, country in which all the people of the country can vote to elect their representatives. 907 demography, the study of population. 908 den, the hidden home of some types of wild animals, bear, lion, etc. 909 denature, take away, or alter the natural qualities of 9110 dendrology, the scientific study of trees. 9111 denigrate, criticize unfairly. 9112 denigration, a belittling comment. 913 denteloquent, talking through one's teeth. 914 denude, lay bare. 915 departure, act of departing. 916 dependent person, especially a child, who depends on another person for a home, food, money, etc. 917 depict, portray in words. 918 deponent person, who gives written testimony for use in law court. 919 depose, force to leave. 920 depraved, morally corrupt. 921 deprecate, to feel and express strong disapproval. 922 depreciate, to become less valuable over period of time. 923 depress, lessen the activity or force of. 924 depression, pushing down. 925 deprive, to prevent from having, doing something important. 926 deprived child who is without enough food, education, and all the things that are necessary for it to live a happy and comfortable life. 927 derelict person without a home, a job or property. 928 dereliction, willful negligence, the fact of deliberately not doing what you ought to do, especially when it is part of your job debacle. 929 derivative, copied from something else, not having new or original ideas. 930 dermatoglyphic, the study of the lines forming skin pattern on the palms of the hands and soles of the feet. 931 dermatologist, doctor who studies and treats skin diseases. 932 dermatology, the scientific study of skin diseases. 933 desert, large area of land that has very little water and very few plants growing. 934 deserter, a person who abandons their duty, as on a military post. 935 desertion, abandonment, defection. 936 designate, to say officially that somebody, something has particular character, name, to describe in a particular way. 937 designer, person whose job is to decide how things such as clothes, furniture, tools, etc. will look or work by making drawings, plans, patterns. 938 desistance, cessation of offending or other antisocial behavior. 939 desolate, empty, and without people, making you feel sad, frightened. 940 despair, the feeling of having lost all hope. 941 desperate, showing extreme courage. 942 despicable, very unpleasant, evil. 943 despondency, feeling downcast and disheartened and hopeless. 944 despotic, ruler with great power, especially one uses it in a cruel way. 945 despotism, the rule of ruler with great power, one who uses it in a cruel way. 946 dessert, a dish served as the last course of a meal. 947 destitute, person without money, food, and other things necessary for life. 948 destructionist, one who delights in destroying that which is valuable, or whose principles and influence tend to destroy existing institutions. 949 desultory, going from one thing to another, without definite plan and without enthusiasm. 950 detect, to discover, notice something that is not easy to see, hear, etc. 951 detective, person, especially a police officer, whose job is to examine crimes and catch criminals. 952 detention, a punishment in which a student must stay at school after others have gone home. 953 determination, the quality that makes you continue trying to do something even when this is difficult. 954 determined, to discover the facts, to calculate exactly. 955 deterrence, the action of discouraging an action or event through instilling doubt or fear of the consequences. 956 deterrent, thing that makes somebody less likely to do something. 957 detestable, unequivocally detestable. 958 detour, longer route that you take in order to avoid a problem, to visit a place. 959 devious, behaving in dishonest way, showing a skillful use of underhand tactics to achieve goals. 960 devotee, an ardent follower and admirer. 961 devotion, usually plural, religious observance or prayers, usually spoken silently. 962 Devout, devoutly religious 963. Dexterous, skillful with your hands 2. 964. Diadem, crown, worn as a sign of royal power. 965. Diagnose, to say exactly what an illness or the cause of problem is. 966. Diagnosis, identifying the nature or cause of some phenomena. 967. Dialogue, conversations in look, play or film, movie 3. 968. Diaspora, the movement of people from any nation or group away from their own country. 969. Diatribe, long and angry speech or piece of writing attacking and criticizing somebody, something too. 970. Dictator, person who behaves as if he had complete power over other people and tells them what to do too. 971. Dictatorship, form of government by a ruler who has complete power over a country, especially one who has gained it using military force. 5. 972. Dictionary, a book giving meaning of various words. 973. Diffuse, spread over wide area or between a large number of people. 974. Dilapidated, old and in very bad condition, furniture and buildings. 975. Dilatory, not acting quickly enough. 976. Dilettante, person who does or studies something but is not serious about it and does not have much knowledge, a dabbler in the art and literature. 4. 977. Diligent, showing care and effort in your work. Duties. 2. 978. Ding-dong, sound made by bell. 979. Diplomacy, skill in dealing with people in difficult situations without upsetting, offending them too. 980. Dipsomania, an intense, persistent desire to drink alcoholic beverages to excess. 3. 981. Director, person in charge of a particular activity, department in a company, a college, etc. 982. Dirge, song, sung in the past at a funeral or for a dead person. 3. 983. Disaffected, no longer satisfied with your situation, organization, belief, etc., and therefore not loyal to it. 984. Disaster, an act that has disastrous consequences. 985. Discern, see with an effort but clearly. 986. Disciple, pupil of a teacher, leader, philosopher. 2. 987. Disciplinarian, person who believes in using rules and punishment for controlling people. 988. Discoverer, someone who is the first to observe something. 989. Discrimination, the practice of treating somebody or particular group in society less fairly than other. 990. Disenfranchisement, the state of being deprived of a right or privilege, especially the right to vote. 991. Disgraceful, an act that makes feel morally bad or ashamed. 992. Disguise, the act of concealing the identity of something by modifying its appearance. 993. Disharmony, a lack of harmony. 994. Dishonored, loss of honor, respect, or reputation. 995. Disintegrate, break up into small parts as the result of impact or decay. 996. Disloyalty, the quality of being unfaithful to your friends, family, country, etc. 997. Disparate, essentially different. 998. Disparity, inequality, or difference in some respect. 999. Dispersal, the act of dispersing or diffusing something. 1000. Disperse, move away from each other. 1001. Dissidence, disagreement, especially with the government.